Okay guys, it's Sunday the 9th of September, so we're going to do our market review. As always, we will look at the FTSE 100, the Forex pair EURUSD, and the US index, the Nasdaq. Now we are looking at these markets in terms of day trading. The video is mainly aimed at my zone trader students. However, if you are trading these markets, if you are day trading, hopefully they can help you out. Now what I would also say is if you are completely new to trading, and you don't really understand what it is I'm talking about in these videos, there is a free introduction to trading course, which is linked in the video description section. And if you're a little bit more advanced with trading, but you want to start learning more technical aspects, perhaps you don't understand how we're looking at these support and resistance levels or what we are looking to do at these support and resistance levels, there is the free Decisive package seminars, again, that is linked in the description section of this video. And both of them are completely free. Okay, so with the FTSE 100, looking at this market from last week, we've still got everything marked up. I've just taken out the zones which were up here because we didn't trade anywhere near them. We were looking at potential pullbacks into key resistance levels, straight back up on the Monday, the Tuesday, rejection at 1, rejection at 2, all the way down. We were finding support at our key support level, which was 7440 to 7420. And we went over how if we break down below that level, it's very likely we're going to see a stronger move down on this market. We broke down on the Wednesday, all the way down to our key support at 7380 to 7350, where we found support. And then once again, a very strong move down. So with the FTSE coming into next week, looking at a couple of different things. First thing I'm going to do actually is get rid of these arrows. If we can find them on here. Perfect. Okay. So we've had a very, very strong move down on the FTSE. Now we're coming into, or we're into this whole section down here, which is very key support. So the very key support for me started, first of all, we had the previous swing point, which we were watching last week, 7440 to 7420. We got a bounce, we got the rejection. Then we had key support at 7380 to 7350, which we were using this gap as our clue. We got a nice bounce. And now we're back down into this whole section where we had multiple previous swing points. Now, expectations are for bulls to be watching down in this level. However, on the weekly time frame, with the FTSE, we've had this very, very strong rally. We've then had a rejection. We tried again, we rejected again, and we're starting to break down. So I'm a little bit less keen to say we're just going to hit down at these levels, find key support, and then start to rally once again. I'm a little bit neutral on the FTSE until we start to get further evidence, because we've been holding up at these levels for so long. We have subsequently broken down from those levels that for me, there is still the potential here that the market is going to roll over, start to hold more bearish, and we're going to see further downsides, certainly down into at least 7160 to 7050. So basically the round number at 7000, that key round number. So what are we watching coming into next week? Well, the first thing is our key resistance levels are a little bit further up now. So 7420 to 7440. For me, this is still a strong level of potential resistance. Above there, we're back into 7480 to 7512. And above there, 7533 to 7548. If we see the market pulling back into those levels, I'm more than happy to start watching for potential weakness once again. What I would say is if we do get up above this one, 7440 to 7420, I'd also be happy to start looking for potential bullish bounces, because there is the potential, we're going to see some sort of a pullback, and the very key levels for me start up here. Now, in terms of support, well, first thing we can see here is the resistance levels are further up, so there is the potential for a bullish bounce. Let's get rid of this, and we'll have a look at a couple of these key resistance levels down here. So, quite a few levels down here, so relatively choppy. So what we want to do is focus on a couple of the very key ones first. We've got one sitting at really this whole section right here, around about 7220. All the way down into 7180. So we've got the market testing. We're testing before we have this break up. We come down, we're testing, holding here, and then we break up, and then we find the support to continue on with this very strong bullish rally. So for me, this is a key level of support. We've actually just tested just up above this level on Friday, and we have found a fairly significant amount of support. Now up above there, we've probably got another couple. I'd say we've got one sitting at round about 7,242 up toward 7,275. Again, key level of support. So potentially we're going to be testing at this coming into the start of next week. If we are, yeah, we're coming back down. I'm more than happy to look for potential bullish bounces from that area. Then we've got another one sitting up around about 7,330 down toward around about the round number 7,300, maybe just a little bit higher right here. Again, pretty good to watch for potential support. So if we're seeing the market coming above and testing, I'm more than happy to look for potential bullish bounces. This one for me, yeah, it's a good level of potential resistance, potentially support also, but I'm going to say this one is a little bit more minor for me next week. So you can see pretty much looking at the screen why I'm a little bit more neutral. We've got 3 strong levels of support and we've got 3 levels above of very nice resistance. So at present, I'm just going to be watching the market, testing these levels, waiting for some further evidence to see if we are going to press back up next week. Really, it's lining up nicely for some sort of a bullish bounce, at least some sort of a retracement next week. But what I want to start seeing moving forward is if we're going to come up and test at these levels, are we going to start to see the bears stepping back in once again? If we are, there is the real potential here that the FTSE is turning bearish in the longer term. But those are the main areas for me next week, guys. Key support, key support, key support. This one is key resistance. I'd also be happy to watch as potential support. This one a little bit more minor, but still worthwhile watching. Key resistance, got the MA200 sitting there at present on the daily. And then up above there, again, potential key resistance. Okay, so let's move on to Euro USD. Okay guys, so for the Forex pair Euro USD last week, we were looking at potentially these levels down here. So creating a swing point here, breaking down, creating a swing point here. We pressed back up, we were back down to test these levels. We were looking for potential, the arrows are hidden behind the candles, but you can see potential support at this level, potential support at this level. So coming into the start of the week, we're down, finding support, we're finding support. Where are we finding resistance? We're finding resistance at our 116.40 to 116.62 level. A very strong move down. Where have we moved back down into on the Friday? Into this level of support, which is 115.60 to 115.50. So again, what I'm going to do is just get rid of some of these arrows, just so it's a little bit easier to go over what we're looking at for the week ahead. What I would say is certainly our zones are still looking pretty good. I'm not planning on making too many changes to them, but let's have a quick look. So this level here at 115.60 to 115.50, this remains a very key level on Euro USD. It's pretty much the same sort of thing we are looking at. What I'm going to do is put these across here so they don't interfere when we do next week's video. This is key support. If we break down below, it's also a very good level of resistance, and it's the same from last week. If we break down below this 115.60 to 115.30, it's a good area to look for moves back down into at least 114.85 to 114.55, but I would expect to see 114.45 to 114.20 tested, and this then becomes very key support. As does the level down below, really. 114 to 113.78. Yeah, key support, key support. So this level is very important coming into the start next week. It remains key support at present. If we break down below, it's very good to start watching for those stronger moves back down, because we had a very strong bearish movement. The market broke down and then pressed back up. You really call this sort of an emotive breakdown. We've been holding, and then we had a very, very strong surge of sellers, but the buyers jumped back in, pressed it back up, right back into these key levels of potential resistance that we went over last week and the week before, where we've seen the nice reactions coming in. So this remains very key. This level up above 115.75 to 116.20, I'd say for me this still remains a little bit more neutral. I'm actually going to bring the bottom up ever so slightly. So it's now 116.19 to 115.83. We'll just shrink the rectangle. Also, up above there, this level, again, is still key resistance. 116.62 to 116, around about 116.40. It remains key resistance. And similar to last week, if we get up above there, it becomes a good potential level to look for bullish bounces. Let's get rid of some of this. So we can focus in on our key levels. Actually, I'm going to leave this one up here because this still remains very, very key. And if we do get up above here, it's very likely we're heading back up to 117 to 117.50. Yeah, so those are the main levels for EURUSD at present. We have had now a couple of nice rejections with a very strong move down on Friday. Excuse me, a strong move down on the Friday. That's leaving us with this level being very important next week. Start of the week, yeah, remains good support. If we break down below, I would expect through the week to see the move back down into these levels. Again, key support, key support. If we did start to break up, this is very key resistance. If we get above there, I would expect to see another test of these key levels at 117.60. 117.06 to 117.50. Okay, let's move on to our final market, which is Nasdaq. Okay guys, for Nasdaq, what are we looking at? So from last week, first of all, we'd broken up above a potential sloping support and resistance level. Let me just get rid of this one. We were looking at this 7675 to 7660 and also this 7688 to 7710. So basically the all-time highs as potential resistance. Market broke down, tested at our 7587, 7571, very strong bullish bounce. Where to? Our 7633 to 7620. Strong resistance down into our key support. We got a bounce from that level of around about 40 points. We then crashed all the way down, straight through our next one, straight through this sloping support, all the way down to 7400 to 7378. Strong bounce back up to test at this key level right here. Now for Nasdaq last week, and last couple of weeks actually, we were at all-time highs. When we're at all-time highs like that, it becomes a little bit more difficult to sort of read into the price action. Now, coming into next week, there's a few different things to go over on this market. What I would say is, we could probably get rid of some of these up here, some of these key levels. We don't want the market to be too much of a mess. Are we going to rally back up here around about 200 points? May as well leave these levels up here at present. So all-time highs, yeah, always worthwhile watching. Down below there, we still have 7633 to 7620. Down below there, 7590, 7520. We're going to leave that level there. I'm going to say we're not going to call any of them key. You know, still up toward all-time highs, still very little evidence at present. I'm actually going to get rid of this one right here at present. I'm going to actually bring this one up ever so slightly to marry up with the spike down and the spike downs, giving us the clues that potentially it was just sitting slightly off. Okay, so for Nasdaq next week, main thing, this sloping support level. Yeah, it's been holding for a considerable length of time. Yeah, you can stretch this back even further. Okay, it can come all the way back. Multiple tests, very, very strong movements on this market. You know, anyone who says you can't use price action to trade, you can just look at something like this. You see markets doing things like this all the time. Moving forward, the main area of interest now is this sloping support level. It's going to give us the clues, okay? Last week on the Friday, we broke all the way down and then we ramped up very strongly with the buyers stepping in. Now, with the buyers stepping in like that, what I was really expecting to see is something like this. Yeah, strong move back up, closing back inside the sloping support level. This did not do that. Instead, it's actually closed lower than Thursday's close. So at present, it's not screaming out overly bullish for me. I mean, it's just not giving that evidence. Let's get rid of both of these arrows. Okay, so coming into next week, if we're pressing back up on this market, and we start to test toward anything that's lining up with sloping resistance, what is potentially sloping resistance at present, it's more than worthwhile starting to watch for potential weakness and the bears stepping back in. They've already shown that they're eager to hold this market below this sloping support and resistance level. Doesn't mean it's going to break. All we're doing as day traders is looking for potentially obvious movements. Both of these levels, 7520, 7487, 7475, 7455. Now, if we get up above 7520, if it's not lining up with the sloping support, so if the sloping support is sitting up above this, I don't think we will next week. As long as the sloping support level and resistance level is not sitting up above this zone, this becomes very key support if we get up above. To start looking for moves back up to at least 7560 to this zone, 7570 to 7590. This is the whole sort of main area for next week for me. Let's get rid of this. Underneath 7400, 7380, this remains key support. We've also got another couple of levels down here. We've got one sitting at around about 7355 to this whole section here, 7335. Again, that's a very good level of support. Now, if we get down below this level, I'd expect the move down into at least 7280. This whole section down here. Let's actually mark this one in. Around about 7280 up toward 7300, the round number. This whole section right here. And again, that would be key support. If we got below that level, really, I expect to see the market then making a stronger bearish movement down to those levels. So that's everything for Nasdaq. Really, it doesn't mean this is broken, this sloping support and resistance, but it's giving us potential signs that it is looking to hold below this level. So eventually, the Nasdaq will break below this level, and we will see a much stronger correction on this market. As traders, we're just looking for clues. Even if it doesn't break, this still remains key resistance, key resistance. If we're getting back up above, it's very likely that the break is failing, and we will then expect another strong move up on Nasdaq. Down below, we have key support, key support. If we're getting below this one, as I've mentioned, again, it's very good to look for stronger moves down. And if we get below 7300, 7280, stronger moves down once again. So really on the Nasdaq, it's a little bit of watching to see how price action is going to react. Are we going to hold below this level? If we do, it's a very good indication of a much stronger correction. And really, if it is holding below this level, I would expect to see at least 7350, but more likely 7300 before we see the bulls again trying to ramp this market back up once again. Okay guys, that is everything for this week. As always, I hope that was helpful. I hope you've all had a good start to September. We're out of August now, the markets are starting to pick back up, getting a little bit more volatile. Hope you all have a good trading week next week. I'm James Orr, and thank you.